Hello and welcome back to Xpwaste, where I am still level 1 runecrafting. I'm Michael.
And I'm Oxie. If you're new around here, welcome. We're a podcast that talks almost exclusively about old school RuneScape. We say almost because we tend to get off on tangents every now and then, but we're like a good 92%. We're like half RuneScape, at least. Last week, we talked about sailing, and we got kind of mean about it in retrospect. But you know what? We'll remedy that in the future, I'm sure. If you're not new around here, we are joined by a very special guest. It is my pleasure to introduce the Northman Rakal, Mr. Jeporite. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Hello, thanks for having me.
So, who the hell are you? And what do you do?
That's a good question. My name's Jeporite. I have a series on YouTube called Northern UIM. It's a region-locked account, but I describe it more as a comedy series. There are large stretches of videos where I just don't make any progress, and I have like little silly skits in there. My background is I have a degree in game development with a focus on narrative and storytelling, and that definitely bleeds into the videos a bit.
That's sick, actually. That's cool. Are you currently using your degree in any way?
No, I make YouTube videos now. I've recently gone full time, which is terrifying, but also exciting.
Nice.
How's the transition to full-time been?
It's interesting. I'm streaming 3 days a week, which is a lot of fun. My videos have been very backlogged, like ever since the beginning. I've had this it's almost been a meme how like dated my videos are compared to present day, but I'm finally caught up on footage so I can stream without spoilers. So it's difficult to like judge. I guess it's difficult to determine if I'm having a lot of fun because I'm streaming or because I'm finally playing on my Snowflake account. But
I'm sure the answer is yes.
Yeah, regardless of the reason, I'm having a great time.
Good. I will say I did not know that Northern UIM was set, way back in the Stone Age when the episodes first started. And I think, because I had not watched your content for about 9 months after knowing you, and then I watched the entire series in a weekend. And then watching like the first couple episodes, I'm like, what do you mean that's not how that works? There's no free to play LMS. That's not a thing. What the hell am I looking at right now? And then it hit me that like, holy shit, these are old videos, old videos.
Yeah, I think in my first couple videos, I have clue scrolls visible that don't have
the colors. Yep.
Yeah.
Ugh.
When did you start that account?
I started the account shortly after Swampletics episode 2. So this was like December 2019 or
oh wow,
December 2018, I think. It was very yeah. And then granted, like I was in college, I didn't have time to be editing videos. I had never I did a little like film stuff in high school, so I had no experience editing anything. That footage sat unused for 18 months before. I don't know if you guys have heard of this thing, but there was this pandemic that kind of went around.
Might have been affected. Yeah,
I heard it went viral.
Sheesh.
Is it too late to say I don't want to do this podcast?
I think Michael's got first dibs on that. I gotta love it with you. I think if there's anyone here that's gonna back out of the show, I think Michael's got seniority. So
understandable.
You're stuck with me, the funniest person on earth, for the rest of the show.
That's good. So 18 months?
Yeah, and the last couple months of that was me figuring out like, okay, how do I actually make a YouTube video? But yeah, the first 8 episodes of Northern UIM take place almost 2 years before episode 9.
Okay. And so was there ever like a thought of like, should I just restart? Because like that's a long time where you just can't control, or things changed or your goals change or whatever.
I never thought about like restarting the account, but it was definitely like a thought in my head, like, okay, how do I make sure that these videos don't seem super dated, given that the footage is so old? And I really have no metric in like determining how successful that was.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, it's still a popular series, so like,
yeah,
it wasn't like people were turned off.
Yeah, it didn't seem as
by it, you know,
detrimental as maybe I thought it was in my mind. But granted, like, I'm always gonna be my biggest critic. Like, I can't go back and watch my earlier videos.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like something about how I speak in them or like the way they're edited together. I just like, God, I just want to like go in and like edit the videos on YouTube without taking them down, like, which is like super like perfectionists behavior, right?
Yeah.
No, I get it. I get it. It's some of our older episodes are a bit cringe to look at, especially the way the game changed. You know, when you kind of talk about it and interact with it in the future. They're like, oh, that's so not relevant anymore. Why is that a whole topic of conversation right now? Like,
yeah.
But I'll tell you, as a viewer who's also put a disgusting amount of time into this game, it's almost fun to watch like the little throwback references, right? Like the clue scroll without any color markings on it. You're like, damn, this is some old footage. That's cool. You know, it's not like, oh, he's so unprofessional. Like you can't even fake that anymore. You know, like it's
right.
Those little relics as a viewer are interesting to watch, but as a creator, you're like, oh my God, why would I say that? Why would I do that?
Yeah.
I think it kind of gives a journey though. You know, like if you had restarted, maybe you wouldn't have done things the same twice. And now that you did, you can go on that journey from the beginning, and then things in the later episodes do make sense versus, you know, like why did, you know, it's a weird jump if you kind of like went back and redid things.
My account doesn't function the same way if you made it now. I had this entire arc, like I think it was like episode 5, where I needed to make a games necklace because it was my only way into the wilderness, because my area is my region is north of the wilderness ditch, so I have everything above that, the wilderness, Fremenic area, Berthorpe is up there. But there's like this big mountain range in the middle. And nowadays, if you made the account, you could just minigame teleport to Clan Wars. But if I did that, Clan Wars was in Al Kharid. So,
true.
God, like the good times, dude. When you could walk through that portal and it would cure everything. It'd take your skull away, dude. God, I miss that old portal so much.
Yeah, so it is kind of interesting that like the goals I had in the beginning of the series are just kind of irrelevant now, because if you made the account, there is actually some interesting routing that I recently discovered, that if you made Northern UIM now, you could play it in reverse, where you start in the wilderness and have to unlock the Fremenic area.
That's cool.
Which is like a super bizarre theory craft that I enjoyed doing that will never see relevance.
How do you do that? How do you get to Fremenic from the wilderness?
Okay, so if you start in the wilderness, you only have access to wilderness and Berthorpe via minigame teleports. Mm-hmm. Every Fremenic minigame teleport, and there's 2, there's Blast Furnace and there's Barbarian Assault. Blast Furnace, you need to start the Giant Dwarf. Barbarian Assault, you need to go through the minigame tutorial. Mm-hmm. But you have everything you need within Berthorpe and the wilderness to complete Death Plateau. And by using climbing boots, you can go past all the trolls and end up, you come out close to the Slayer Cave.
Okay.
So if anyone wanted to copy Northern UIM, which I don't recommend doing, there's your first 3 episodes right there.
I'm out here looking like, where the hell do you find trout for that quest? I don't know what drops trout.
Yeah, you can buy it from the Warriors Guild. So yeah, enjoy leveling up your combat stats to 65.
I love that sentiment of big creators with great series that I end up seeing and hearing a lot. Is like, yeah, dude, if you want to do this account, go for it. Please don't do this. don't do it to yourself. But like, if you want to, it's all yours.
So I saw Verf's Karamja series, and the second I saw it, I was like, "Wow, this is a super novel way of playing this game. I would love to do this." Too bad he took Karamja, and that's clearly the only viable region to do this. Nobody else would be crazy enough to take this into a different area. And then Settled came out with Swampletics, and I thought to myself, oh, you can do this in other places. But I think it takes like a specific kind of player to like seek out and enjoy this play style. And it does feel like everyone has migrated to chunk accounts at this point, which I'm definitely a lot less invested in. I'm not really sure why, but I just like the appeal of having an entire region definitely appeals to me more than just having a lot of like insane grinds in one fenced off area.
The extreme chunks, like with Verf, that takes locked to a whole nother level.
Yeah, I could never do that.
Completing every single thing in like, I don't know how many tiles it is, but you know, a single area and then being able to move on. It's crazy. I don't think I have the time, honestly, for any sort of like locked account. I say that, but like I want to make a skiller at some point, but that's different. I feel like that's on a different plane of existence of like parts of the game are locked to you, but you're not locked to areas specifically where just certain items don't exist, even if you have the level or you can equip them. But yeah, that's cool. So back in 2018, you got the idea from watching Settled and all these other YouTubers doing the area lock. Do you remember how much theory crafting you did to like see if it was even viable to just exist above the northern like the Wildy line?
Yeah, I had a couple different ideas for series. Chunk locked accounts weren't a thing, so like I was like looking at ideas for an account that was like coast bound, so you needed to have some source of water in your region. I didn't like that for several reasons.
It's a lot of the game. You can do a lot. Other than like go to Varrock, you can do a lot of shit with a coast bound account just looking at the map.
Right. But what's the end game? You've got like Dagannoth Kings, kind of. I think there's water everywhere in that dungeon, but there were problems. I needed something that had like strict rules, right? That wasn't just like you need to be X tiles from a coast. What am I gonna mark every tile that I?
Your map's gonna be a fucking mess. You're gonna play Leagues or Dead Man mode. There's gonna be shit everywhere.
Right?
Not be able to see anything.
Yeah. I also briefly considered Desert Locked, although at that point there was no TOA, so I didn't feel like there was anything interesting there. The second I realized that a northern account could train Slayer by using NPC contact to talk to Krystilia without hopping over the ditch, that was the interaction that I was like, okay, this account has something unique going for it. It's cool. It's got a lot of other things going for it as well. It's got a whole crap ton of bosses. That can be my goal. This is the most viable thing. And then I made the account, and a week later I was like a level 40 grinding out Barbarian Assault on the public world to get a raw shark to complete the Fremenic trials, and I'm like, man, this is terrible. Am I really gonna make these videos?
Would not have chosen this shit twice, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's that being my first grind really like
it set the bar for the account.
Yeah, and like looking back on it, like now I love Barbarian Assault, which I know a lot of people like have different opinions about Barbarian Assault, but I think it's really fun now. At the time, I was on the public world. God, that was a lot of work.
See, I think that's how Barbarian Assault gets ruined for a lot of people. Playing it, like, I don't mean to be an elitist asshole about it, but playing it with randos who you can't communicate with, like you can, friends in VC, is a nightmare. Oh, it's so bad.
I mean, you're just rolling the dice if your team is competent, because so much of that game requires interaction. I think it's really unique in all of the mini games of RuneScape. Like, it almost feels closer to like Chambers or Tob, in that you need to be like communicating with your teammates, especially like speedruns of Barbarian Assault. They're sweet to do. They're sweet to watch. Granted, you need like to study every mechanic before you even understand what you're looking at. You've got people using like skill cape emotes to stall cannons, and I think everything about that minigame is a beautiful broken mess, and I would love Barbarian Assault 2, even though it will never ever happen.
Is that a thing in RS3? Or did they update Barbarian Assault?
I want to say there's a hard mode or something.
Ooh. Okay, hard mode would go hard, actually.
Yes, there is. And you fight the Penance King. And I'm just looking at the wiki. I don't think I've ever played this.
We need it.
I know there's a collection log, like a book or something associated with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm blanking on the name of the streamer who I used to watch. She collected all the books and shit. Jas somebody? I don't remember if that's Jax's. That's who I used to watch for a little bit. And she did a lot of BA for the lore book associated with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta ask you this. What's your definition of a BA speedrun? Because every bingo for the last probably like 7 or 8 seasons, we have done a Barbarian Assault speedrun time where it's been like, we just reduce it by a minute every season until it's a 50-50 completion. I think last season it was 20 minutes. It was a sub 20-minute Barbarian Assault game. What's your definition of a BA speedrun?
Oh God, that's a good question. It's funny you mentioned that. I also did a bingo last weekend, and there was a tile to do Barbarian Assault with your team.
Yeah.
And there was no like time requirement or anything. But our time was 17 minutes. So I don't
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
I think you can get 20 minutes with a decent public team. But like I'd describe a speed run as like if you've got someone on your team bringing in skill capes and like elemental shields and doing stalls to break the game, like I'd consider that a speed run, regardless of like whatever your time ends up being.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, so you guys heard what to do if there's a speedrun tile in the fall. Who knows? Maybe there will be. I don't know. There might be. I think the BA speedrun's been one of our most consistent tiles for years on our bingo boards. We love a bingo event around here.
Nice.
The next one's coming up in November, I think it is. So there might be a little bit.
Early
There might be a little
November.
bit of a Barbarian Assault on there if you guys have been around for a while. But I'm sure somebody's gonna cringe at that. Other than Swole, he's our resident BA guy. But
yeah, I really want to. I have a idea for a series of videos. I don't mind sharing it here. I'd love to make 4 Barbarian Assault guides, one for each role, with the idea that they are about 30 seconds long each, so that you can pull it up while you're in the lobby waiting for your team.
oh my
That's cool.
god, that'd be perfect. Like those exact minute Tob guides. Oh, those would be perfect for BA.
Yeah, I want to see if I can like try to break the like, oh, Barbarian Assault is terrible sentiment that goes around a lot. I don't know if it's possible to break that. There might also be a like mockumentary video in the future of like me interviewing some like Barbarian Assault boosting clans and like try to frame them as the like actual devil. I don't know. I have a lot of
I was gonna say Big BA is gonna come after you.
I know.
It's like
I-
they live on the propaganda.
I think that'd be fun.
You gotta frame them as like, you know when they interview like the criminals and they black out their faces and they distort their voices and shit. That's what you gotta do when you interview the BA services clan or whatever it is.
Yeah. The issue is like I know a few people who do that and they're just so nice. Like
That's why it's even funnier.
Yeah.
Could you imagine you get someone, they're totally blacked out and they're like, honestly, we do this not for the money, but because we enjoy helping the community get their fighter torso. We have to fund our own expenditures, and it does take our time out of doing things we enjoy. But honestly, if we can help people through BA in a way they like, that's all we really care about. You see how fucking evil these people are?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. That'd be funny. It's expensive, and I don't know why it's so expensive. Like, what is it? Like, I don't know, 50 mil or something for your torso?
Yeah, it's only that. And it takes like an hour. But granted, it's split, 4 people? So
140 mil, apparently.
For a torso?
140
mil for a torso?
Fear, please don't spend that money on a torso for our GIMs, dude.
Maybe that'd be like all
take
fives.
us.
That might be all five. Like
That's
five,
crazy,
fives.
dude.
Yeah,
if you don't mind though. Oh, the 140s for the no wait time, dude.
Oh yeah, okay.
I didn't spend 140 mil on my fighter torso. I did that shit on Twitch in like 2019, 2020 with all randos in the BA lobby. And that was one of the most miserable streams of my life. I remember fighting for my life to just get through a game. And I came out with like, what's it? You need like 350 points in each roll. I had 350 in 3 of them, and then like 349 defender points after a game. And I was so just devastated, upset that I finished a round 1 and left. I was one of those guys who was just like, well, I have what I need. I'm out here. It had been like 6 hours. It was miserable. It was a long time ago though.
If there's one thing they need to rework about Barbarian Assault, it's the rewards. Because like that system where like you can be just short of an item and you're incentivized to abandon your team. I mean, not that real accounts would ever have a use for it, but the low and the medium gambles for Barbarian Assault, you need to abandon your team to get those. You need to be like past wave 3 for the low gambles and past wave 6 for the medium gambles. Which is like so bizarre. And the reason they did that is because you need a queen kill for the high gamble. Or I mean, this is speculation, but you need to spend a queen kill to do a high gamble. So I guess they're like, okay, you need to be 2/3 of the way there for a medium gamble. Like I don't know what the logic is.
That's dumb. I've never
so
rolled
terrible.
the low and medium. I didn't know that.
Right.
That's so dumb.
Wait, hold on. Can you not do a low or medium after killing the queen?
So after killing the queen, you are reset to wave 1.
Yeah.
And you are locked from doing a low or a medium gamble.
What? All right, that's the dumbest shit.
Excuse me?
Yeah, I mean it's
And then the rewards are probably like, here's 50 GP.
Yeah. I mean the rewards are
It's that
Not
2005 big money drop table of like, 11 potato seeds and like,
I mean they're not that bad. They're actually like quite useful for my account, but they
you
would
gotta
be
be
useful
a dick
for
about
like
it.
Yeah, right.
You heard it here first. Recall abandons his BA teams. That's
So-
the story.
So I've never done a medium gamble, but I've actually had for my low gambles, it's actually been really easy because you just go into a public world and then someone abandons for you.
Easy enough. That's
Yeah,
true.
it's perfect.
How would you feel? Because I know with the Huaycodals coming out for Varlamore here, hopefully in like 2 weeks. I know Gothic Tress talked about it in their most recent episode, and I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago, Michael. They kind of have to like drop Varlamore Part 2 like at the Summer Summit. They're going to be like, hey, welcome to the Summer Summit. Varlamore Part 2 comes out in 10 minutes. Like, have fun with that. Kind of like they did with Scurious. But with Huaycodal, they have like NPC helpers, from what I remember from the blog. Do you think BA would be a better experience if a player dropped out and then like a random barbarian joined in that role instead? Do you think people, obviously it wouldn't be as efficient as, I almost said raiding, but like essentially raiding with another real person who knows the role, but like, if they got an NPC, if they got an AI in there to fill that player spot, would that be better, or is it just far more like easier to reset if someone drops out at like wave 4.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, I'm thinking about this from like a programming standpoint. Like, how would you code an AI to do that? I feel like that would require. I mean, it's not really answering the question, but I feel like that's not viable from a. Okay.
We broke him.
No, you've definitely broken me with this question.
There's bots that do like end game content.
Okay,
I'm sure
but you're
that
asking
just,
Jagex to code a bot.
Make a bot. They've done it before,
not a
haven't
bot,
they?
not a bot, but like,
I mean, that's essentially what this is.
I mean, more or less. But like, let's they have NPCs who do jobs for you, right? Like, it's in my head, it's a more advanced version of the dudes at the blast furnace who do the jobs instead of the players, right?
I think
back to the league. Remember though,
like,
remember we got like a thrall basically that was a bot. You could just summon a bot to do DPS for you. Like they've done it before.
But how does that work?
That thing just attacks.
That's all you do in Barbarian Assault.
Well, in one of the 4 roles.
So I was immediately my mind immediately went to the defender dropping out. And like, how would that work?
Well, maybe they would just be like, somebody else has to take defender, and this bot is like the collector or something, or attacker, because that's easy.
That seems even more jank. Okay, I'll say this: whenever there's a big update to the game, whatever it is, Barbarian Assault breaks.
Yeah.
You really want to change Barbarian Assault? The rest of the game would break.
That's true.
Maybe if we changed Barbarian Assault, it wouldn't break. You know?
I think adding a bot or whatever you want to call it, I kind of feel like that would, and granted, I'm a Barbarian Assault purist. I think that would feel very out of place. I think the better solution is don't give points until you kill the queen.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Like incentivize a finish rather than just dropping out midway because you already got your points.
Yeah. And also like scale the points so you're never like a complete Barbarian Assault run should always give at least 375 points so that you're never like screwed out of a torso. I mean, I think that those 2 changes alone would make it so that people don't quit. It would streamline getting a torso. And it would probably also somehow break Tombs of a Masket, if I had to guess. I don't know.
W's across the board, baby. Easier to get a torso. TOA gets deleted. Oh, baby. That's what I'm talking about. That's the update we need. So here's a question. If they update Barbarian Assault, what happens to the game? Does it become a dead minigame? Other than the Penance Queen pet, if you can get your own torso in the span of, I don't know, 80 minutes with a team, you just do it by yourself. What's the point of a bunch of people being there all the time? Because I think
people still need level 5s, right?
That's true.
I feel like most minigames are like kind of dead. Barbarian Assault definitely feels less dead than like Castle Wars or Trouble Brewing.
Yeah. The only thing that's keeping like minigames in general alive is achievement diaries.
Yes.
Like past a torso, you would be hard pressed to find anybody actually willing to do Barbarian Assault. The pet hunters and then your random torso getter. But if you didn't need level 5s, it would be pretty dead, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Do you have the pet?
No, I don't. I've played a decent amount of Barbarian Assault, but I haven't like, it's like super inconvenient to do on the Northern account now because I'm like permanently stuck with a looting bag and a rune pouch, and you can't take either of those into Barbarian Assault. There's like a massive list of items you can't take in there. Probably because there's been bugs in the past with people like smuggling out max cash stacks somehow, and they just
well, those eggs are 10 mil, don't you know?
Yeah.
God, dude, that was a fun era.
Yeah.
All the eggs would drop, and they were expensive as shit.
Yeah.
So I guess I didn't realize it, but you're a UIM?
I am,
Also?
yes. Mhm.
No need for a bank? I guess
Yeah.
there's not many banks in Relica.
There are no banks in real. I mean, there are a fair amount in the
Like
north
Lunar Island,
proper,
yeah.
but yeah, I became a UIM mostly because of peer pressure. I mean, Verf and Settled were both well-known UIMs at the time. Northern UIM was actually my first Iron Man account.
So sorry to hear that. Holy.
Yeah, I had only played a main before then, and so I really went into the deep end. But
Yeah, way to jump in.
yeah, but it was cool to have that unique experience for the first time.
If you could go back and not get peer pressured, would you still be a UIM? Like, do you think that being a UIM adds value to your account?
I think it adds value to the viewer experience. There's something really cool about being able to go back in Swampletics and like at any video, you can pause it on any frame, look at his inventory and see his entire account on the screen right there.
True.
And for that reason, there was a period, I didn't go through with it because it made no sense, but I was considering not using a looting bag on Northern UIM just because it's 28 inventory spots that you can't see on the screen at all times. But then I decided that I wanted 28 inventory slots. So
Doesn't seem worth it to
yeah,
give the viewers a little something extra to deny yourself that second inventory there.
right.
But
Would you? Oh, here's another question. Would you play a UIM outside of an area locked account now that you've been doing it for a few years?
I've actually thought about that. And I don't feel like I have the time.
It is a time commitment for sure.
It is. I have 3 accounts. I have Northern UIM, which I play on for streams and for videos. I have my GIM, which I play with a bunch of old real life friends. And I have my main, which is solely an account that shoots B-roll for my UIM series.
Nice.
So I don't really feel like there's need for a 4th account in there, even if I'm only playing on 2 of them at any given time. But I have thought about like what happens to Northern UIM when the series is over.
mm-hmm.
And I have kind of been tempted to consider like, okay, if I'm not making videos on this thing, should I I'm keeping it as a UIM because UIMs are sweet, but do I just say,
yeah.
Do I say
Venture
videos
south.
are over? Do I just say, okay, series is over, I'm just going to go wherever I want? Or do I keep it locked to the north in case there's a future update that I want to make a video for?
I mean, Northern UIM 2, the Zaya expansion.
I
know you don't want to go to Zaya, but if you're done in the mainland in the north, that could be, the next
once sailing comes out, sail to Zaya.
Yeah. So I originally didn't consider Korend because it's like you look at the RuneScape map, Korend is like, at least before Varlamore, Korend is 90% above my imaginary line. So it's
super cheaty, as it were, to go over there.
Yeah, like it would just invalidate a lot of things that I've done on the account. And I've thought about like what a post game for this account would look like if I ventured into the south again to take a couple more exceptions to maybe unlock Muspa, maybe Duke, Nex. There's definitely more account that can be played if I, take a trip through the south. And there's also the max cape, like I could milk this account. I could milk this account forever. Well, not forever, but I don't know.
For enough time, yeah.
Yeah, for enough time. That I think that. What was the question again? I think that I'm likely not gonna turn it into a regular UIM. Even though I think that playing a regular UIM does sound like fun. I don't know if I'll ever have the opportunity to do that.
I would feel bad.
Yeah. What is your relationship with our favorite medieval point and click game then? If we're doing a lot of UIM stuff, do you ever like Araxor just came out? Do you ever hop on the main to kill Araxor and then, like, oh, that was fun. I'm not going to do this ever on the account that I normally play? Or I know Jeporite, the account itself is not the most progressed out there.
So Jeporite is a joke account.
Yeah.
It is the world's greatest and worst chivalry peer. I've got 66 defense and 60 prayer.
Dog.
Which is the bare minimum you need for chivalry. And I made it because it's funny. It's also terrible. The real reason is I wanted a pure account that could have a quest cape. And it's like, I mean, I don't know if you'd even call it a pure. It's just a bad account. But it does have a quest cape. Or it did for a while. And then I
neat.
Gave him a camera and told him his life as an adventurer was over.
Took that arrow to the knee, as it were.
Yeah. But the account is actually like, I mean, it's 1870 total, 105 combat. Granted, the combat stats are dumb anyway. But I only have 87 Slayer on it. So I've never, like, I've killed Hydra in leagues. That's it. I've never killed Kraken. Like there are like
you ain't missing much.
Yeah,
Kraken.
But like, new content like this comes out, and I'm like, oh, that's neat. Maybe I'll play that on my GIM in 2 years.
You do have the GIM, so that
I do.
You could progress there.
And I actually just noticed my GIM is higher total level than my mains. So
good God,
that's interesting.
Tell you how many times we've had that discussion of like, what do you call a main if you're not playing it? Is it an alt?
Right.
Is it still a main? We just call it a main.
But I guess my relationship to like new content that gets added to the game is I watch someone stream it on Twitch.
So I didn't realize that you weren't going to current. I've not caught up on the videos yet, and I probably should, because now you said you are caught up on making videos, right? Like any new video that comes out, like it's not backlogged footage anymore.
Yeah, so I have 20 episodes up. I've been streaming. I think I have enough footage for like one more video, which aiming to get that out before the end of the year. So yeah, like videos will be up to date within the last couple months, which is like kind of,
that's huge.
Yeah, it's a real shift because I'm used to having these like well thought out narratives that like I can foreshadow stuff that takes place way in the future. Like I can't do that now, so my process is going to be a little different. But I think it's a trade-off that's well worth it, given that now people aren't like, where the hell are you?
I mean, people are going to still say, hey, where the hell are you? Like, you're caught up.
Fair,
Why don't we have a video every day? Like,
right.
What the hell? But so I recently watched the State of the Northman. I'm like, damn, that sucks you release this video because we could have asked him all these questions. And now now we've got answers in a much shorter piece of content. But you talk a lot about the creative process and the storyboarding almost of what this series is. I love that. I love the whole like, we're gonna tell a fantastic story with the most boring content in the world, and we're gonna get people emotionally invested, right? Without being able to foreshadow. It's kind of like the different writing styles. Before you had an end in mind because you had done it. It had been several years, and you're kind of like, how do we get to this end point? And now it's more the George R.R. Martin, we're gonna plant a seed and see where it grows kind of a thing. Is that new for you, or I know you mentioned it's new for the series, but as far as like story development, things like that,
it's, well, I don't know. I think that it's I can play on, I mean, I have like a big text document of all of my goals for the series, and we can like plant seeds for like maybe an episode or two in advance when like I know I'm gonna be like, I know this is where the videos are headed. There is kind of an issue in that as part of the North, there's this big open dark wasteland known as the wilderness, where things can be a little bit unpredictable. So, I could be planning this big triumphant charge into the wild and I could get PK'd in 10 minutes, right? Like, there are aspects of this that I'm not going to be able to control anymore. And part of that terrifies me. But it's also like, it's also exciting. And I can, like, I'm not worried that whenever I start making a video, I look at all the footage and I'm like, man, this video is going to suck. And at this point in the process, I trust that by the end of it, I will have something I like. So I'm just trusting that I will figure this out eventually, even if I can't see the end from where I'm currently sitting.
So for your creative process, the story is in the editing.
Yes.
The story is not
100%
being told as you go.
I don't like playing the game differently just because I'm making videos out of it. I enjoy just playing the game and then like telling the story, like figuring out what the hell I was thinking. Like, I don't even like, I barely do live commentary. If I'm doing live commentary, it's because I just got a sweet drop and I need a reaction. Right. But like the story, like that's me in 3 months time's problem. Right. Like he can figure that shit out.
We can put something together.
Yeah. And like, has that bit me in the ass before? Absolutely. Am I going to do it again? Probably.
Do you have an example that comes to mind of a time that it bit you in the ass?
Yeah. There was one episode in the first season. It was episode 5. It was the episode I was trying to get into the wilderness. There were 2 ways I could do it, 2 paths. I could make a games necklace, which required like level 5 magic and 40 smithing and some crafting levels or something, which is a lot when you only have Relica and no source of runes. Yeah, so I had make a games necklace, or I could grind my agility for 30 hours, and there's a shortcut off of Trollheim. And when playing, I like went back and forth on like which is more feasible. And the video is like, I looked at the footage and it was just me like being super indecisive, going back and forth. And eventually I just abandoned the agility and say, okay, we're teleporting in using a games necklace. What's the narrative there? The narrative there is that I'm indecisive and dumb.
The indecisive man feels pressured to make choice.
Right.
Does it?
Yes.
I don't know.
That write that down. That's the name of my autobiography. Yeah, so my solution to that, which was like really bizarre looking back on it, but was like one of the greatest choices I ever made, was I had two friends from when I did musical theater back in college, and I had them voice PKers that were like scoping me out, ready to PK me as soon as I went into the wilderness. And I kind of told the video from their perspective, so that they could be frustrated instead of the viewer being frustrated.
Oh, there you go.
And it worked great. And, I never need to see those characters ever again, right? They can just be a one-off thing. And then people really liked them, and I had to keep putting them in videos, even when it didn't make that much sense. But so one of like the greatest joys I have when making these videos, when figuring out these plot lines, is having a problem and then introducing a solution to that problem that makes the video better than if there was no problem in the first place.
Yeah, because like at that point, if your story narrative was like, I need a games necklace, 50% of your footage is you trying to figure out if agility is viable. That's just not usable if the story is a games necklace.
Right. So the story has to change because stupid 2019-year-old me is like, do I really want to run these agility laps? The Barbarian Outpost course is like 12k XP an hour.
Hell no, you don't want to run those laps.
Because that's not interesting.
Yeah.
Like storytelling. If you're
It's
just
boring
like,
to
hey,
do, it's boring to watch.
here's
Yeah.
4 hours later, we have a level, and it's just a 10-second skilling montage.
Yeah.
Which those have to happen sometimes. Like I'm not dogging on creators for putting them in there. That it's inevitable.
Right. You're watching RuneScape. There will be grinds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I think it's how you frame those grinds that make it more enjoyable, right? Like I got 99 agility back in April or May, whenever it was. I know how shitty the agility grind is. I've lived it. I don't necessarily want to watch somebody else live it. So if you could make it marginally more enjoyable to watch, that's pretty cool. I will say, until the recent State of the Northman video, I suspected the Deep Willy PK spoilers was 100% staged.
Really?
I'm not gonna. I'm like, dude, like, okay, cool. It makes for good storytelling, but like, really, Enchanted
That's
in a
wild.
Home. That was the only bit that I was ever a little sus about. But you said that was indeed not staged.
No, that was like that was like the greatest coincidence to happen to the account.
That's why. Do you think somebody intentionally went out there to hunt
no.
whether or not you knew?
No, because nobody had watched the videos at that point. I like when
shit, dude.
When I was recording that, I was at less than 1,000 subscribers.
Wow.
No, and if I had staged that, not that I would have, but if I had, I think I would have made the outfits match perfectly, right?
You'd think, yeah, because there was a few differences in the actual fit,
right?
But that's I don't know that right there. That truly is. It's a very satisfying moment. So like, oh shit, no, I was right. There is someone coming to hunt me down in this dumbass outfit.
Yeah. And like the one thing that I did plant is that like later in that episode, like after I got PK'd, I went and I trained agility because I wasn't risking anything, and that grind was miserable for other reasons. But I did put the 2 PKers like in just for like 30 seconds. I did 1 lap with them like watching over, and I don't know if I'd ever do that again. Mostly because like I had to gear up 2 accounts and like basically have them stand AFK in the wilderness. But I don't know. I feel like there's a level of trust that you need to have between your viewers, like the story and the gameplay. I feel like there needs to be like a little bit of a wall in between them, because otherwise, like, I mean, it's like you said, like, is this real? Did this really happen, or is this staged?
And if it's not staged, did you know that person killed you and then intentionally went back 2 years and designed one of these PKers to look like the guy that killed you?
Yeah.
Like, was that purposeful, or was you getting killed coincidentally on purpose? Like, as a viewer, those are the 2 things that were, if it's entirely coincidence, that's funnier than shit. And it's a great sequence. It's a great sequence no matter what. But I will say that's kind of what crossed the mind watching, again, the entire series in like a 2.5 day span. So
I have had people think like, or they've seen that and they're like, oh, he had this planned for when he created the PKer character 12 episodes prior, which I didn't. But I don't know. I think I think that there are better ways to provoke interesting gameplay other than staging it yourself. Whether that's like having jokey banter with PKers on Twitter to like, if I ever get Northern UIM to escape from like Framed or Reese or like a well-established PKer, and I can put that into a video, like that might be my crowning achievement on Northern UIM.
You gotta get the bounty put on your head. Would that be fun for you though, to exist with a bounty?
No. Yeah. And I made a joke about that I'm putting a negative 100 mil bounty on my head. So if you kill me, you need to give me 100 mil. Nobody's paid it out, even though I have died several times in the wilderness.
Absolute bastards.
Can't imagine why.
Yeah, so dumb. So, tangential question. that's entirely related to RuneScape and storytelling, sort of. Do you play Dungeons and Dragons?
I play a lot of D&D, yes.
Are you a player, or are you the world's best forever DM?
I am, depending on who you ask, the world's best forever DM.
Okay. Because that was another thing when watching that State of the Northman video. I'm like, dude, I bet this guy absolutely fucks playing D&D.
Yeah,
like what are you cooking up for your players? What shenanigans are you putting those poor souls through?
Yeah, I actually recently finished a campaign. It was my college campaign. We had 4 players, and we got to level 18, and then the pandemic hit. And we recently, like this year, actually, we all got together. Some of us had to drive like 7 hours, but we all got together, and they successfully killed God.
Damn.
You know, as one does. But yeah, I really enjoy D&D, and I'm hoping that next year I can start another campaign, and I'm sure that I'm going to be the DM again.
Are you a write your own story kind of a guy, or are you a base it off a D&D story and just work from there?
I will steal from lots of things, but it's always in a homebrew world. I did a lot of world building as part of my degree in college, and I think it's a really fun thing to put on paper.
I don't doubt it.
I'm also like really interested in using some sort of generative AI, not for visuals or anything, but just to like flesh out descriptions for stuff. Because what I really enjoy as a player in D&D is just listening to the DM describe pretty locations, like interesting areas, and just kind of exploring in that sense. And because all of my DMing work took place before the introduction of like ChatGPT and everything like that, I'm kind of an AI doomer in my everyday life. Like I am like super negative when it comes to that stuff, and I think it's going to destroy the world. But
thank you. Thank a man.
You're talking to the right guy.
But like
Oxie is the same way.
But I think that there are interesting implementations when you're not using it to spread Russian propaganda, right? Like
it's great for mundane tasks. That's what I will
Right.
say. Like the introduction of the microwave, you know, it's great if you just want it done quickly.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same thing with ChatGPT. Like take an entire page of text and you just want it bullet point summarized. That's easy to do.
Yeah.
But like AI generated images and videos, like that's what scares me.
Right.
Mundane tasks I'm not worried about.
But I'm also like, whenever I use it, it's just like, okay, write this email for me. And then I read it over. It doesn't sound like me. And then I rewrite the entire thing myself. So like, I feel like even if I'm generating a bullet point list from all these things, like I'd check it over and like make sure that everything's right anyway. Like,
You definitely should. Yeah. Like whenever I'm on the job search right now and a job needed a cover letter, like what is this, like 1992?
Yeah.
Every job needs a cover letter. What are you talking about? Don't say that shit out loud on a podcast, Michael. What?
I just had ChatGPT wrote it for me, and I was like, I just went in and changed a few things to make it me. Like,
right.
I just needed a framework to work off of, and that's what ChatGPT is good for. At least like
every
basic
career
tasks.
I've ever applied for has needed a cover letter. You need one? You let me know. I'll send you mine. I'll send you my resume too. You can work off of that. You don't need no ChatGPT. I got you, baby girl.
Just need Oxy GPT.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a very good writer. So with that in mind, right? I feel like you and I, Jep, we share a lot of interest in like creating our own world, creating our own story. And one of the reasons, as Michael knows, I'm so virulently against AI use for anything creative is like, you, that's not real art. A computer made that. Like, not even, you didn't even, all you did was say like, type out Xpwaste as a group of people and let's put it on a shirt. That's not fucking artwork. That's a prompt, right?
Mhm.
That
Feels
drives
very
me
personal.
It is a personal attack against you, sir. All I'm saying is in my opinion, I'm very glad that line of merch never went to market. Because the stuff you did by hand or like in Canva is significantly better. The double sheep with the penguins is exponentially better than that shit you showed me from ChatGPT all that time ago.
It's true.
So with that in mind, with that sentiment of like AI is going to be the downfall of human society. What you're also on the same note, like here, have my personal world that I created, ChatGPT, do something with it.
I definitely wouldn't ever use it for like narrative. I just want it to like, okay, I've got all this narrative stuff, but like,
what's the bartender's name type shit? Like,
yeah, like things that don't matter, but like are nice to have. Like, okay, I've got this city that's like nestled underneath a cliff. It's, you know, there's a torrential downpour right now. The city is like bustling. There are merchant caravans that have just arrived. Like, paint me this picture with like flowery descriptions and like all that stuff. Give me that. I want to give you all of the information and you just paint it better. Which then it will spit something out at me and then I'll change it to however I like it. But I think that's like, I don't know, maybe that's just like where I struggle with as a writer. Like, I can do that, but it'll take me 20 minutes to, I mean, you can hear me talk. Like I'm somewhat of a stutterer and I take a while to get my thoughts out, right? Like, I mean, that's why I can't do live commentary for Northern UIM, because a clip that would take 20 seconds would take me 2 minutes.
Also, with like live commentary, though, like it's really got to be good live commentary,
right?
You know,
True.
I feel like the standard of RuneScape videos has gone up so much.
Oh, it's absurd.
Like,
yeah,
like back in the day, I'm something of a YouTube connoisseur myself, and I have a couple guides that I've released, and I've done a little bit of a league series. And God, you talk about looking back on your old YouTube videos and going, oh, you know, live commentary is just not the move anymore. There's so many better ways to do it. And I think our community has kind of discovered that like getting footage and then re-recording over that footage is so much better. It tells a better story. It's more fun to watch.
Yeah.
You know,
I think each has its own place depending on what you do. Because like Hanani does it. I think she does it perfectly. Like she has a great mix of live commentary and narration. And she makes it work. She fills in the gaps of like, well, I didn't really explain this too well, so let's cut to a bobbing head and set things up, and then we'll go back to just like having fun with the game and being in the moment.
I think the best creators, and this isn't necessarily limited to RuneScape, but if you have the ability to script out commentary and have it pass for live. Like if you can imitate your diction or however you speak so that it feels like you're actually there in the moment, even though you've written it out. I think that is a very valuable skill. I think Donkey does this. I know that Jimmy does it as well. If we want to bring it back to RuneScape, but I think it's a very useful skill just to like get that flow without all the and thinking that comes with live commentary.
Yeah. At the end of the day, the result is the same. You're telling a story. You're explaining what you're doing.
Yeah.
Whether or not you did it in post, you know, it's not what matters most to people, I don't think.
I think that there's a balancing act between polish and authenticity. And I feel like in the past, I've definitely gone too close to polish and sacrificed authenticity for that. But I think that like there are ways to make all of it work. I mean, you look at someone like Unguided. That has to be live commentary, right? That format, like he's going through every quest for the first time. It's a wonderful experience to watch him stumble through these things without guides. But I mean, that kind of series would not function if you are dubbing it over in post, right? Like that wouldn't make any sense. The entire series is his live reactions to stuff.
True.
So I don't know. I'm still working on figuring out the correct balance between polish and authenticity, and it's got to be different for everyone.
Do you feel that's a struggle with every episode, or do you think that's like overarching? Like every episode we have to fight this battle, or you're getting closer and closer to like, yeah, I've got it down and this is what I like to follow.
I don't know. I mean, it's God. Can you just give me like 30 minutes to script this answer, please? Thanks.
yeah, no problem. Well, we're gonna go to break, you guys. Don't you worry.
Perfect. No, I think I've struggled with it because my video, like, I have a script for every single one of my episodes. I goes back to me being my biggest critic. Like, I don't know how much viewers really, like, if they can even tell, like, what's live commentary and what's pre-recorded or what's done in post. But I do my best so that they can't tell. And I think that that's the balance that I'm going for, is as polished as I can possibly be without people telling, like, without people being able to tell that it's not in the moment. Or if they can tell, they're not bothered by it in any way. That's probably the more important one.
Some of my favorite moments in like watching like RuneScape series is when it's like just a random clip. There's no talking, and then something happens, and you can hear them get out of a relaxed position, and like, you know, they're far away from the mic, and then they get close, and you know that they were just like, they were relaxing, nothing was happening. But that's the most, I think that's kind of like where authenticity meets the polish, because you can't just be like 2 inches from the mic the whole time.
Right.
So then, you know, they were playing the game. Those are some of my favorite moments, because they don't happen all the time. But when they get sprinkled in and you're like, holy cow, you know, and you hear them from like 5 feet away, they grab the microphone.
I was just saying, because when I play, like, if I'm not in VC, my microphone is actually back here. I don't know if you can still technically hear me, but like not very well. So it's like, oh my god, I got a Dragon Warhammer in my GIM. Oh my god, we got to talk about that. Is a very distinct difference.
Because then you know that you're not getting a fake reaction,
right?
Because you could play that scene again and do it again where you are close to the microphone. And you're like, oh my gosh, I got it. Versus, holy shit, oh my gosh, I got the drop. You know it's authentic. And those are some of my favorite little moments.
Writing that down. Fake a reaction by moving the microphone away from the computer. Perfect.
Hey, I was just about to say, it seems like we've given you the recipe to fake it even more. But,
perfect.
This just in: Northern UIM inauthentic.
I don't know if I'm alone in that thinking, but like, to me, that they don't happen as often as somebody who is close, like a friend on YouTube. That happens a lot for him. Mm-hmm. And I think that may be where I get that, because I watched a friend a lot back in the day, like in 2016, 2017. And so that happened a lot with him. It's just kind of endearing. Like, he was just chilling, just playing the game. Maybe he was watching a TV show on the side, pause the show, react to the drop, do some commentary.
Still waiting for a friend's third episode of his Fremenic locked account. Still waiting for that. It'll happen eventually, I'm sure of it.
He says somebody posted the link. He says let's see here, when it finishes loading, a 0% complete for Northern UIM episode 21.
Yes, I've been streaming. I've been recording gameplay.
Oh, do you have like a website that shows progress to the next episode?
I do. It's when is the next episode of northernuim.com.
That's amazing.
See, every time somebody tells me about like series like this, I always think they are like really long. Like there's a lot of episodes, like Game of Thrones level time frame that I could sit and watch these pieces of content. Because I think I was spoiled with the first couple. Like When I stumbled across In Depth for a Pet, there was like 25 episodes. When I stumbled across By Release, there was a shit ton of episodes. So when I stumbled across Northern UIM, I think it was by like 16, 17, something like that.
Mhm.
And I didn't know the website was a thing until I got to the end of whatever episode was currently there. I'm like, what do you? There ain't no fucking way. We gotta wait. And I'm like, what does that mean? What is 80% done? What does that mean to me? Jeff, where's the next episode?
I write a lot of lists in my everyday life because otherwise I just don't do anything.
ADHD.
So I have a really complicated way of quantifying how close I am to completing an episode, and it's never like 80% of the way there. It's not like a time-wise thing. Like, I mean, the last 5% of every episode is just like revisions and like making the thumbnail and stuff, and like I can usually get all that done in like 48 hours. So I made the website because like wherever I would go, like if I was in game, if I was in a Twitch chat, if I was just like lurking somewhere, people would be like, "Oh, hey Jeb, how you doing? When's the next episode?" I'm like, I couldn't have a normal conversation without somebody asking me.
We'll say that is a perk of a weekly release cadence, is that we don't often get asked when the next episode is because people know. Right. Flip side of that is there's an expectation that shit is out on Thursday morning, and when it's not, people are like tapping their feet, curlers in their hair. Wear content,
Yeah, I get to enjoy that because now I have a stream schedule.
Ooh. Has that changed the way that you approach content creation now that you're streaming alongside of it?
A bit, yeah. I need to. Well, it's interesting for the Northern account because I can't do most wildy things on stream.
Yeah,
because people
you
know exactly.
But it's very risky.
Yeah,
there's only so many worlds,
right? And also like the hours I stream are. Like I stream in hours strategic so a lot of people can watch me, but I want the opposite for when I'm in the wilderness. I want to do that at like 2 or 3 a.m. when nobody's online.
Hey guys, I'm going to be doing Vetinatus on World 302 at 1 p.m. Eastern time this Saturday, the holiday weekend. Like, oh God.
Yeah. But there's also like I really want my videos to stay in the same format. Like they can't be stream highlights. To me, that's like an entirely different thing. Like people have those series and they can be good, but that's not the kind of videos that I want to make. So it's like I have had to think about like, okay, this grind is great for stream. This I can't do on stream because people will not watch because it's boring. This is in the wilderness. This absolutely can't be on stream because I will die. But then also like I get viewers who will watch me do like literally anything. Like I've had to pick up a lot of tar from the barrels on the Lady Zay, which is the ship that takes you to Lunar Isle. There are a lot of tar barrels, and that's my only way of getting like a decent herb lore secondary. And that has been the most requested stream is just like 3 hours of me picking up tar from barrels. I'm like, you don't want that. Please. You don't like, you think it would be funny, but I'd get like 20 viewers. And there's no point of doing that.
Well, they get to talk to you. Like I feel like at that point, you are the content.
Well, yeah, and I don't think that anything, like if I'm not killing a boss, I don't think that I'm doing anything interesting in terms of account progression. So I don't know. I just feel bored if I'm not doing anything right. I mean, like I do enjoy talking to chat sometimes. I'd say most of the time.
That would be the only thing that would get me through that 3 hour picking up tar is like just having somebody there. I mean, that's what Discord is great for.
Right.
Just hanging out with people, but you're incentivized not to just be in a Discord call.
Right.
Which is, it's the other side of content creation that you are together but alone, which kind of sucks sometimes.
Discord is unfortunately, for better or for worse, one of the reasons that I stopped streaming on Twitch, because it was like I could like do a Tob learning stream where like I'm learning the content, or I could do an Inferno stream where I could get as far as, wave 62, my PB, or I could get to like wave 30 and die like an idiot. Like I could do that on stream where I have to have a camera on, look nice, and constantly respond to people. Or I could do it in Discord with like 4 people who I'm pretty close with. And it's like, it was a combination of a lot of things at the time, but especially once the podcast started, the latter became way more appealing to me of like, let's just do this with friends,
Yeah.
and not do it on Twitch. I will say, you've got a big enough of a following. If you did do a tar stream, you'd pull hundreds of folks, no problem. It's happening. The fabled tar stream
Oh God,
is happening.
And
then not only is the fabled 4-hour tar stream happening, somebody's close enough for a face reveal. You'd get
Oh my God.
People would be showing up in fucking droves to watch you collect tar.
Yeah, I don't know about
that. I think I once had like 30 people watch me drift net fish and do nothing, which was like the extent of an evening. But that was post Xpwaste, and we can just at people. So
yeah.
So I guess I'm not caught up on the series, unfortunately. But like, what's on the horizon for the Northern UIM? If there are people who are not, privy to what your series is, or they're not caught up.
Yeah. So the goal of the series is to kill every boss in the North. So
We're
that's
covering this an hour and a half into the show.
Yeah, I know.
What's the point of this show? Oh, I guess we can bring it up.
Yeah. So if you look at all the Northern bosses, you've got Dagonoth Kings, all of the God Wars bosses. So you've got the Wilderness bosses, the Wilderness Demi bosses, KBD, Chaos Elemental, and then the 2 Slayer bosses, Grotesque Guardians and Kraken. And as of episode 20, so I'm 20 episodes into my series. And in episode 20, I kill the Crazy Archaeologist for the first time.
Ooh.
But I'm 20 episodes in, and I've killed 1 boss. So I'm really looking forward to killing more. I obviously don't want to spoil things for my future videos, but I've spent a lot of time in the past videos leveling up a bunch of different stats. Like I got level 70 Slayer for this big Caress grind that I'm doing that just gives me like a whole bunch of money and herbs and good stuff to progress the account equipment wise. And I'm like finally at the point where we can start making progress on the point of the account. And it feels weird because I'm working on episode 21. But I guess if it's an account based on bossing, right, then it makes sense that the bosses will happen in the later videos.
Right. Yeah, because you got to work up to it. When you say boss, you mean like just like the big ones, like that like bosses that have a high scores attached, or
yeah, I consider bosses to be things that have high scores attached to them, which is why I don't consider like Penance Queen to be a boss. Nor do I consider the Revenant boss. Would you call it a Revenant boss? It's kind of like a superior almost, right?
Yeah, it's like a hybrid boss superior thing.
I wouldn't mind killing that if somebody else couldn't just breathe on it, and then I wouldn't get loot as an Iron Man. Because like, God, those mechanics.
Just take the helmet off, dog. Easy solution. Just become a main.
You're right.
That's all I'm saying.
It's so easy.
Michael, what were you thinking of in the North that is a boss but not a boss?
Well, he mentioned Kurasks, like going around and just like killing one of every killable monster, like having the ability that like if there's an NPC that requires a level to kill it, you're going to do it. At like check off, kind of like with chunk locked accounts, like you need to pick up the bucket that's in the house. That is part of your checklist of items or checklist of things to do.
That seems, I mean, what's the point? I don't know. Like,
yeah,
it's painful is what it is. Have you seen the I think it was the Angus video where he ran around and he killed, I don't know if it was, I think it was every monster in the game or something like that. It seemed like a horrible grind.
I don't think that would be exciting from a from a viewer point of view, right? Not that like
No, because it's just like okay, guys, I'm gonna get what's the highest relevant Slayer creature that you can kill? Is it abyssal demons in your area? It's Kraken probably.
Technically Kraken, right?
So okay, cool. We killed a baby Kraken, and that's the end of the account. It's like what?
Yeah,
Why?
and I'm actually changing it to next episode. I'm changing the goal of the account to get a unique from every boss, and that's mostly because I realized, like, at my current stats, I could probably cheese most bosses for one kill. But I think, like, if I actually have to grind them out, it makes it a lot more interesting. And I'm also guaranteed to get a drop from everything. And that makes my account cooler in my eyes.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I will say the baby boss blitz. And was it the finale of season 2? That was good. That was good shit.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I just wasn't... I wasn't expecting you to just be like, all right. I thought you're just gonna have to like take the exceptions. So
yeah, no, we're not doing that.
How do you feel about Exceptionscape?
Oh God. So when I was creating Northern UIM, I wanted there to be no permanent exceptions. I was fine with a few one-time exceptions, but I had looked at like what wilderness locked Ironmen do. And all of them allowed Edgeville. Granted, this was before Ferox Enclave, but also you need Edgeville to get Crystalia, and like I didn't like
not be a UIM in the deep wilderness, get a respawn point, yeah.
Right. And I didn't want to be like Northern / Edgeville, right? Like to me that's
Diet Northern, yeah.
That's weird that you have like, okay, this is my rule, and this. But like, as long as an exception isn't ridiculous in nature, like ridiculously large, and it makes the account sweeter, take your fucking exception. Like, I'm not gonna do Desert Treasure. I'm not gonna do Desert Treasure 2 to unlock Baron or to unlock Duke because that's like a ton of hours outside of my area. But like, if you need to take an exception for your account to function, do it.
Yeah.
Like, people don't care that much. One of the most common things I get asked is, why don't you take a Zaya exception? Like, people want me to take exceptions, which I
Jeporite, please stop doing this to yourself.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, Zaya's a little bit different though. Like, don't want to get the fucking poison chalice from for whatever quest, and going to a continent that's like, what if UIM wasn't that hard,
right?
Relative to what it is now. Like, I don't play a UIM. I hate Iron Man mode. The XP wasters know that. I am so far from an Iron Man, but I also know that like there is something special about having a restricted account, and if you unleash the restrictions based on a technicality of like, well, technically Zaya's all in the north, like what the only interesting thing I could possibly think of, like, oh, how do we do this? And this was back when the favor system existed, is how do you get to Chambers? Because just looking at the map, the route to get to Chambers goes just underneath the line.
Correct.
So how do you get to Chambers? Now the minecart system just exists, and you don't need to do anything like relevant for it. You know,
correct.
Like, like what's the next interesting bit from Zaya other than getting drops? You know?
Yeah, I mean, the farming guild would be nice. I don't know.
The farming guild would be nice, but like it's not.
But like, I don't need it for anything, right?
It's not a challenge to get the farming guild. You just have to train farming. It's not like a, you know, a lot of the beauty of some of these regional lock series is like, hey, I'm gonna do this super simple mundane thing, and it's gonna take me 600 hours. You know, like that's why, you know, Northern UIM and Swampletics and all these other series, Desert Locked, Karamja Locked, are fun, is because it's doing an easy thing in the worst way possible. And if you can do an easy thing the easy way on an account that's not supposed to do it the easy way, it's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
It ceases to become interesting at that point. not ceases, but I would feel like it would lose some of its
It definitely
charm.
diminishes it a bit.
There is a massive flip side. And it's like, if what you're doing with not taking an exception is making you as the content creator miserable, and people can tell, and you're not having fun, and like you're just putting out all of this negative energy, that's when you kind of have to self-reflect. I'm not saying you, but you general.
You specifically better start self-reflecting. So help me.
No, like you just have to
You're-
like take a look at what you're doing, and is it still worth it? If your only way to get a certain item that's very easy to get with a simple exception is to go and do this 100-hour detour that's going to make you miserable, is it worth it at the end of the day? And those are the kind of things that make the like area locked really interesting. And it can also be very detrimental.
Yeah, and people have talked about like burnout on these kind of accounts. I've never experienced that.
Really?
Well, okay, I did once, and it was the first week when I had to do Barbarian Assaults. On like after we got past Barbarian Assault, I was like, all right, this account's awesome. We're sticking with this. I'm having so much fun. Even like the Wildy Slayer stuff that I had to do super late
Which
at
was
night.
also,
like,
again, as a viewer, insane to watch. It's like, oh, cool. There's a chance he could just never train Slayer again.
yeah,
This is gonna be fun. Like, I don't often fangirl, but I will say I did enjoy Northern UIM a lot. It only took 8 months of people being like, you gotta watch Northern UIM while like mutually interacting with G's on her stream. And I was like, all right, I'm not doing anything, whatever. We'll just like toss it on. Needless to say, I got invested real quick.
nice. I really don't feel like that much pressure to get people to watch it, because if you start watching it a year from now, then you have like several more episodes to binge. Like
procrastinators always win.
Yeah, exactly.
With these kinds of YouTube series.
Like wait until the whole
Always,
series is
always,
done,
always.
please.
I'm still waiting on bated breath for another Guns Chili video, even though I'm pretty sure he's like on sabbatical and may or may not release a video in the remainder of the year. Hope he's doing all right, by the way. But like, it's really cool when you can watch it when it premieres. It really sucks waiting 3 months for another video of a series you like, knowing full well that it's going to take that long. It's like you're not the only quote unquote offender of this on RuneScape YouTube,
Right.
But it's just, it comes with the territory, I suppose. Procrastinators always win. Don't ever watch the Xpwaste podcast. Just wait. You can keep. I'm pretty sure there's like, what would you say, Michael? Like 500 or 600 hours at this point. We've been doing this shit for like 3 years. So like, I guess if you want to start now, you can at episode 1. But like, you could technically keep waiting if you really want to.
I always tell people, if you want to listen to the backlog in your spare time. And then when a new episode comes out, just start it and see how far you get. And if you finish it, great. You have more of the backlog. But just keep, because we're not in any way a chronological show. Like there are zero spoilers that you would ever get from just listening to the most recent episode is probably more beneficial because everything that you're hearing is more relevant. But it doesn't work that way with like YouTube series, like with what you do.
Bro, our most poorly aged take, I think, at least my most poorly aged take, was back before they did the Wilderness rework. I loved old Venenatis. It was my shit. But I hated old Vedion, and old Callisto was like, just okay. I was convinced that this new escape cave design was going to be a place for PKers to like hard camp, and like it was going to be like Scorpia but worse. Like you were going to get flushed out into this cave with a bunch of dog shit NPCs. The PKers would wait out the aggression timer, and then you would just get mobbed by people as soon as you left, and it wasn't going to be worth it. So I was like, dude, get your Wilderness combat achievements done like today. Because when this dog shit wilderness update comes out and these bosses are harder to kill and you're easier to kill for PKers, like unless they put demonic gorillas and shit down there, it's gonna be a death trap. It's not worth it. And then the update came out and I was like, damn, that was nothing like what I predicted it would be. This is so much nicer than what I had doom and gloom feared that they were gonna do to the wilderness.
I remember when the bosses were updated and I was like really excited because it's rare that I get new Northern content is added to the game, but I was watching streams that like the second the wildy bosses came out, I was like watching streams, like just looking at the chat log in game just to see if the drop tables were the same, because like I had plans that required me to get specific drops from these guys, and I was like, okay, please, I'm watching every Vedion stream. Please tell me they still drop Mortmire fungus, please. I don't know what I'm gonna do if they don't.
There goes the account.
Oh God.
Was there anything from the change that actually benefited you that wasn't there previously? That you know of at least now?
I mean, the fact that the bosses don't suck to kill is a big benefit.
Yeah.
Although
That benefited
admittedly,
everybody. God damn.
although admittedly, then they took away the singles bosses from me with the Wildy Medium Diary because of all the bots. So, I mean, granted, when I made the account, I was expecting to have to kill the old janky version, so this is still a big upgrade, but
yeah,
we're probably
and you
gonna
could
die
do it with
a
friends
few
if you
times.
wanted to.
I could.
Okay.
I
got hit with a war flashback the other day. I was doing something on the wilderness and I saw my old tiles for Vedion. It was
Oh
like
my
one
God.
attack here, 2 attacks here. And then I have a tile marked south that says dogs. And it was like a jump scare. I'm like, oh my God. I hate this so much. Hated this boss. But yeah, I think I'm not an Iron Man myself, but will you do like Callisto, Vedion, Venenatis with friends? Is that something you're willing to do? Or are you going to be like super Northern UIM about it and be like, nope, I'm going to solo Venenatis by myself?
So I think what makes the most sense is I need a unique from all of them just to satisfy my series requirement. I think what makes the most sense is doing the unique by myself. And then once I have that, I'll open it up to killing it with friends, killing it maybe with other content creators, other Wildy Locked people. I also think it would be really fun to, and it probably won't end well, but I think it'd be really fun to get like a whole stream of people who don't mind sculling up, because as a UIM, I can skull up. It doesn't do anything to me. I think it'd be really fun if a PKer drops in and we just have 20 guys just immediately turn and kill him.
Oh, dude, Jep, you would love being on my bingo team. That's my thing. I got some bingo teammates in the recording booth with me right now. I got so pissed off one night at Callisto. I uncharged and unimbued my Ring of Suffering, and I traded my suffering and my anguish to one of my teammates. And I said, "Hey, there's Soggy Waffles in the chat right now." And I said, "Hey, when PKers come, run. I'm going to beat the dog shit. I'm in such a bad mood. I'm just going to start swinging. First person that comes down here, I turn, I immediately skulled up and just started shooting at him. I died. I didn't lose my crossbow, but
Yeah.
I love sculling up and fight people in the wilderness, especially if I know it's going to happen. Oh, man. Nothing like the old Dragon Fire Bolt switch, you know? Bringing the RCB. Yeah. So you need someone to come out there and be a bullet monkey. Dude, I got you. That's so much fun with the group bosses. Do you know the DD tech?
No, what's that?
So when you're at like Scorpia or Callisto particularly, choose a mutually agreed upon tile. And when a PKer runs in, all of you DD on that exact same tile. The stupid PKers, because they're almost guaranteed to do this, they will drop an ice barrage, because none of them bring teleblock when you're in that deep wilderness. They'll drop an ice barrage and attack every single one of you. So a 1v1 becomes a 1v9, and you could just beat the fuck out of them. It is so much fun to watch people like run in fear because they kicked the entire hornet's nest and none of us are skulled up. Oh, it's so good. It is so good if you can get on the DD tile and people don't realize it.
Nice.
But again, you got to agree on that ahead of time so people know, like, this, like, get in the party plugin. This is the tile we're going to. The minute they launch that barrage, you just turn player attack options on and you just start bolting them down. Hit them with the scepter. The scepter spec is disgusting.
Is it?
Oh my god, the scepter spec against another player is gross. It hits like 60s and shit. It's very scary.
It's cracked.
I don't even think I knew this thing did damage.
The Thammaron Scepter? Dude, all three wieldy weapons work really good against other players.
Really? Oh yeah.
I mean, obviously, like it's nothing like, you know, Messiah in the Piss Crystal Bofo with the AGS and the Void Waker. Obviously, there are weapons that are better than the Wilderness weapons, but as a PVMer, if somebody runs up on you and you just have a crossbow or a scepter or a chain mace, just start swinging back.
Right.
You're gonna do more than nothing. You know,
it might actually scare them off too, because sometimes they don't even take food. So it's like you could just
what?
You could
a PKer doesn't take food. What?
I don't know. I don't know what PKers Michael's running into. But he is right. You can scare them off, because especially if they're just like, oh, well, there's an Iron Man at RDO. He's not going to fight back, and you do. They're like, okay, well, I'm joking.
I say they don't bring food because like 9 times out of 10, they're not going to get, people aren't going to fight them back. So it's a risk and reward type thing where you could take more items or more switches and just less food in your inventory. Risk and reward.
It seems like it's a terrible idea just because I'm a UIM, but I do think it would be fun to like try to anti-PK.
Delete some items from the game.
Yeah. If my one unique from Arma happens to be a hilt, you know where that's going.
That's true. Or if you, I mean, like, if every unique from the Wildy bosses ends up being a Void Waker piece.
Okay, I don't know if I want to risk a Void Waker. I probably would go for like one kill with it, but I don't even know if I would want to do that. Void Waker is such a sweet item.
It's so cool.
And not that AGS isn't, but like...
It's very, I mean, AGS is niche. Void Waker has a lot of use outside of PKing. I want a Void Waker on my Iron
I feel
Man
like
so bad.
AGS also has that. It's just outperformed by Claws and Void Waker. You know, it's slow, but like it still hits like a truck. It's just worse than Dragon Claws, worse than Burning Claws, and worse than Void Waker because it's 6 tick. But like, you still hit pretty damn hard. You could take an AGS to PVM, you just don't.
Right.
Does the AGS into Gmaul attack work in PVM?
Yeah, but what's
because I don't see anybody doing that. It's just like being able to stack a lot of damage.
4 words. Swing, 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 swing. You know like there's no situation in PVM where you need to deal 200 damage in 1 tick because the boss is gonna out eat it. You know.
Okay, but that would be a pretty sweet mechanic to put for like a boss.
Tick eating against you. It's all the assassin from Desert Treasure 2. God, that boss, dude. Have you done Desert Treasure 2?
Yes, yesterday.
Yesterday?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I really liked it. I died once. I don't think either of you will guess where.
The first fight that you had to do, I don't know.
Against the golem? What?
Yeah. Well,
you died
since I've done that quest.
You died to the Abyssal Dungeon because you didn't know that you had to bring a face mask.
No, I died to Cassand.
Really?
Yes. I took like 65 damage in a tick somehow.
Jesus.
Cool.
I got hit by like one of the exploding vials I get. I don't know what happened. I first tried all of the bosses.
This man's out here absolute PVM godding. Meanwhile, I got my shit pushed in by all 4 of those bosses the first time I tried. I did so bad the first time I saw those bosses. Maybe I did Leviathan on the first try. Maybe I had to teleport out the first try. But I know Vardorvis beat me like a redheaded stepchild. Duke, I think I killed myself. Whisperer, it was like 7 o'clock in the morning. And I was not prepared for the Shadow Realm phase. But
yeah, Vardorvis and Leviathan, I did kill in leagues. But that's leagues. I could.
Okay, that makes
I like-
sense. Because my follow-up question was going to be, what is your PVM experience? If you could rock up and one bang almost every boss in Desert Treasure 2, what kind of PVM background do you have on the world's best and worst chivalry pure?
87 Slayer.
I don't have that much, but I feel like I understand how the game works pretty well. I'm actually really unsure of how I would do on something like Gillinor games, just because, like, my experience is, like, I feel like I'm very good at the game, but I feel like I haven't tried much. Like, I did Inferno last leagues 3 times, and granted, I had the extra life relic.
The nuke relic? God, I
Yeah.
love that thing.
And I would intentionally kill myself to replenish my stats or my prayer and health. But I did 3 Inferno attempts and I got 3 capes without ever stepping foot in the Inferno before. Granted, I was, nuking everything down with
2-tick shadow.
2-tick dragon crossbow onyx bolts that would heal me every other. Like, I don't know. I would love to try Inferno to like actually test myself. Unfortunately, my only account that is equipped to do that has 60 prayer and 66 defense, which begs the question, why? Why do I still have this useless account? And the answer to that is I am a slut for the sunk cost fallacy. And I feel like I am obligated to get one video out of this thing before I give it max combats.
What video?
Just me dicking around on a really dumb account. Like, I'm going to go into the wilderness. I'm going to lose like 150 mil over the course of a 10-minute video. And I'm going to end it with like, yeah, turns out don't make this account. It's bad. It's definitely
Both best and worst chivalry pure gets an infernal cape.
Definitely not operator error.
Go for a quiver. Seriously, go for a quiver. It's way less of
You
a.
think so?
I don't have a quiver myself, but
Okay.
I can promise you there isn't any other grind in this game that is as mentally tormenting as the Inferno before your first cape. It is different if you have other PVM experience. If you die to the Coliseum 300 times, you get a quiver and you get the Inferno in like 10, like we had a buddy who literally just did that. Clues, it was hundreds of deaths in the Coliseum and then got the quiver. Finally, he was super excited about it. Did the Inferno in 15. I had another friend who regularly ran 500 Invo TOAs with a fire cape, got the Inferno in 5. So like, if you have a lot of experience doing things that are equally as difficult, it's one thing. But if you're following the natural PVM progression, the Inferno is a nightmare. Coliseum is that level-ish of difficulty without the nightmares and with the ability to just leave whenever you want, and you make some money sometimes, and it's not a 2.5 hour time investment to get shit on because you were 0.6 seconds late to react to something. So
Yeah.
go for a quiver on Jeporite with the stats that you have right now, just for laughs, and see how it goes.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm also kind of broke on that account. I mean, I'm not broke, but like,
All right, guys.
I have like
you
a
heard it here
600 mil
first.
bank.
You heard it here first. World famous Northern
Oh my
UIM
God.
streamer Jeporite is now looking for donations.
Excellent.
Go ahead
Please,
and at him in
please
his
don't.
Discord and say, "Meet me on this world."
please do
So I
not.
can give you all of my life savings.
This is
so
my
you
worst
can make
nightmare.
your-
The funny thing is you don't have to click accept.
Yeah, that's true, and I won't.
See, that felt like a personal attack against me because Michael's been trying to give me money.
I
So-
thought about that last night, Oxy. I'm like, I gave you
Dude,
18
chucked
mil worth
up
of items. I'm like,
200 You chucked up 230 million cash. I said, this motherfucker, dude. There's no way.
I just don't have to accept a trade from Oxy ever. And he can't give me money back. This is great. But I think that
I
would be
can,
trust.
because the thing is, I'm going to. Like, I'm going to. The Herblore is done. I have the potions. I'm just gonna sell them and give them back to you, or whatever
that's the
the
thing,
equivalent
Oxy.
of 18 mil is.
I have to hit accept on a trade. Is what I'm saying.
Oh,
I
you
will
won't realize it. I know you. You're not even gonna realize when the bingo books are off by 18 mil. You're gonna go.
Oh my
Where did this
gosh.
extra 18 mil come from? I'm just gonna be like quietly
Sneak it
laughing in the background. Herbivore made a penis in the tracking, by the way.
I
Just
love it
in
when it
case you
does
guys are
that.
Curious. Like,
Got the old penis
such
route.
Such a wonderful activity.
So if you don't know what never done herbivore, that just sounds weird.
Do herbivore and you'll figure it out. That's too bad.
I have
If you
done
don't- If you don't
herbivore.
get that, you'll figure it out.
All right. I'm just like looking at my stats and trying to figure out what my Coliseum setup would be. Like, I need to borrow a shadow from someone.
No, you don't need to borrow a shadow.
Okay.
You don't need to borrow
All
a
right,
shadow.
Oxy, what's my
Let's
weapon
see.
then? Let's hear it.
All right, so you got 75 attack, you got 66 strength. You're going to get
99
up
strength.
in them. You're going to get 99 strength, sorry. You're going to get up in them guts
Yep.
with let's check the attack menu. Please tell me the play to Salvador or sub 75 or you're
80.
going to have a really bad time. All right, cool. You're going to have a really bad time. Your
All right.
best weapon is going to be a tentacle.
No, it's
You're going
not.
to kill
Can't use a tentacle. It would raise my
Why
attack
not?
level. There's no strength XP.
Okay, then, picky ass. You're going to use a blessed Ceratoma sword.
I have one in my
Or-
bank.
Or you're going to main hand a Void Waker.
Correct.
You get to choose.
Yep.
You get to use a Void Waker or a blessed Sarah sword.
I will use the
And-
Sarah sword. It's one less inventory.
And then you're going to bring... You have 99 mage. Oh, dude, Sangstaff. Easy. You get, just buy one of those. Or buy a Trident. Save money. Bring the Trifecta. Bring the Void Waker for the spec and the Blessed Saradomin sword. Bring Trident of the Swamp. Bring a Toxic Blowpipe with Dragon Darts. You have 98 range. You could go the Bofa route if you wanted to.
Yeah, that seems okay. What if I don't have crystal armor and can't wear it?
What? Oh, for fuck's sake. It's like, why couldn't you 66 defense? Okay, so you.
I mean, I also don't have like
believe-
rigor and augury and piety. Like, this account's bad. I don't know if you've noticed. I do think shadow is the way to go.
Tiki in the recording booth chat says zombie axe.
It might be.
I mean,
just because of this dog shit build.
I have full ancestral, which
I mean, full Bandos zombie axe could go pretty hard
why am I using a zombie axe?
because it doesn't give attack XP.
Yeah, well, I can use Blessed Sarah sword. I use that for Tob. For my like 7
But-
Tob KC.
Surely Avernic better.
I can't hold an Avernic.
Surely Dragon Defender better.
I don't think so.
Zombie axe is pretty good if you've not used it. I've heard people say it's equivalent to a whip.
Really?
It's a little bit less, but damn near. Yeah, you get it much earlier. It's like the new Iron Man essential. Like by the friendship with Dragon Scimitar ended.
Mm-hmm.
Zombie Axe is my new best friend.
I'm just annoyed that it's so much better than the leaf bladed axe.
Is that the
Which-
Northern UIM
Yeah, that's
part
the,
of you saying that?
Yeah, that's the Northern UIM special right
The Northern
there.
Spite.
Northern Spite.
All right, let me throw soul into this DPS calculator. Let's figure out what that's actually worth bringing. All right, I got bandos.
What's you said? 105 combat? A quiver on a 105 combat would be kind of cool looking.
Yeah.
I think you can do it. I think if you can successfully get a quiver on Jeporite, make a video out of that, and then make the account not so insufferable to play as a main, you're gonna have achieved your goals.
Yeah.
So-
Probably.
While he's doing the DPS calculations, if you are new around here, if you're a fan of Jeporite in particular, I have a favor to ask of you guys. If you're not new around here, you probably already know where this is going. Do me a favor. And whether it's in the TNL Discord or in the Jeporite Discord or in any Discord that you share with him, do me a favor. At Jeporite and ask him how the Coliseum is going.
Oh God. Oh,
Do him a
God.
favor. Just shoot him a quick ad like, hey Jeporite, how's the quiver grind going? You know? Just
Oh my
see how it
God.
goes. It's important to keep our favorite content creators accountable for the things they say they're going to do. And as he's so graciously agreed that he's guaranteed going to get one.
What?
What was that Scooby-Doo ass home?
anytime I would be getting close to a 99 on my maxing grind, Oxy would send the hounds. He would send the dogs out on me. And like I would get,
And then
I think there was a week where we released an episode. I got like 50 messages, people asking me like,
that was the funniest.
how's 99
it was
mining
rune
going,
crafting.
Michael?
It was 99 rune crafting. I remember because you're like, I'm definitely gonna get it this week. I know I said I'd get it last week, but I'm definitely gonna get it this week after this episode comes out. So I just had everyone at him, and then I pinned all of the messages. I think if you check the Xpwaste chat, they still might be pinned.
Yeah.
Let me go there
100%.
right now. Check the pins. Oh yeah, no, there's a shit ton of people from October of 2021 asking Michael if he's got 99 rune crafting yet.
I got a message yesterday from the only bald in general chat. Michael, are you 99 rune crafting yet? And my answer every time is, yeah, I'm nearly there. We're almost there. We'll do it any day now. This is still just funny.
It only ended up biting me in the ass because Michael got antagonized. I got like post-traumatic stress disorder. And the amount of people asking me about the Inferno, that was such a horrible. Because every part of that, I would not go back to that first Inferno grind probably ever. That was terrible.
Yeah, because I retaliated and I said, okay, now that I have 50 messages, let's get the dogs out on Oxy and let's ask him about his Inferno because he milked it. I don't know if you know about Oxy's Inferno grind.
That was not a milk. That was not milked. Okay,
Milked it.
that was not milked. I was just bad. There was a big difference.
He milked it. He definitely milked it. But got it in the end. But it took, I don't know, 8 months, 2 years.
No, it didn't take 8 months. It took 14 months. Okay, relax.
Oh, how's the DPS calcs looking? Are you gonna get a quiver?
Zombie X is a bit worse. Actually, Voidwaker is a little bit above Sarasword, but not by much. They're both 5.8 DPS. It looks like I think Blessed Sarasword makes the most sense because I saved the inventory spot. I don't need to bring a defender. Great. Now that I've calculated this, I'm going to remove it and not do the Coliseum. Anyway.
Confirmed.
It's too late. It's too late, Jeporite. What we've set in motion cannot be reversed.
I mean, I do think it makes more sense to do Coliseum over Inferno, just because, like, Inferno, you, like, kind of need to tank some Rangers at some point.
Especially during the final
right
Zuck.
Against Zuck.
When that second set spawns, dude. Ugh.
Yeah. And also my mage setup with Ancestral plus Shadow is definitely better than whatever Blessed D'Hide plus Tebow, I guess, is by...
I mean, don't get me wrong. You can do a Shadow Inferno, but you are going to be made of paper.
Right.
And you will get beat like a redheaded stepchild if you, with 66 defense, if you miss a flick, it's going to be bad.
Right.
I thought this whole time you were like 1 defense, but no.
No. 66. You
need some defense to get to
pure
Chivalry.
number. Yeah.
Back whenever they were trying to pull like giving Chivalry from, was it Zombie Pirates?
Yeah.
What was your thought on that? Were you excited about that? Did you vote no?
I voted yes. Because it was 2 reasons. One, it would get me out of having to make the Chivalry pure video, or at least I could make it like immediately, and it could be really half-assed, and it could be like, well, this account's useless now, or at least more useless. 2, I would get it on Northern UIM, and I valued getting a like 3 PS, or it was like a 3% DPS increase on Northern UIM. I valued that more than my entire regular account.
I mean,
it
would have been a nice change.
Take every advantage you can get, dog. Every advantage you can get.
Yeah, because you're not getting piety.
Yeah, I don't care about my pain. Also,
they're always there for you, though.
Like,
they're always there for you if you want to go back.
The Chivalry scroll is just like, why zombie pirates? That, like, flavor-wise, that makes 0 sense.
No idea.
It doesn't make any sense.
Like, I still don't know why they added the zombie pirates.
Yeah, why not put teleport anchoring on the enemy that teleports you around
a
lot, you know?
I mean, they said they wanted to make a spot for peers to PK, but does anyone PK there?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Last time I was there, I was going we had to get anchoring scroll from zombie pirates for a bingo that I was in, and I was just gonna do it during the duration of the show because everyone I had watched on my team, no one of their combat brackets showed up. I'm like, I'm a max combat main account. Like, no one's gonna run up on me. 6 people in the first probably 4 minutes of being out there. Void, ballistas,
Jeez,
void wakers. I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna let my team do this tile. I'm just gonna train rune crafting during recording. I'm not doing bingo right now. So yeah, people do PK there.
All right. Is it still like heavily botted? I know they changed the way the loot works there.
It's nice because not every PK that shows up is going to be your combat level. So if it is botted, they're going to be the ones who get hunted.
Take out the boss before you take out me, please. I'm a real person. Hit him with the plea.
Yeah, it's also locked behind their. It's not locked, but their drop table is heavily nerfed now without Wildy Medium.
Really?
Yeah, I am kind of amazed at how useless this drop table is for Northern UIM. Like, there's like nothing on it. Like, adamant seeds would be kind of funny, but like, it's just all alchables. Like, you couldn't have been a little bit creative.
Would you ever go for the teleport scroll?
No.
You mean you don't want you don't want the convenience for the couple abyssal demon tasks you're gonna have to do?
It's a 1 in 20k, and because I don't have the diary, it's like
Is it higher without the diary?
So there's typically you've got a 50% chance to roll on the drop table, and it's 15 without the diary. So it'd be like 1 in 60k to get the anchoring scroll. It's just not including the keys, but like, I'm good, man.
Keys could help.
I'm sure keys would help, but I guess it's only 1 in 275 from the keys. But how many keys am I gonna get?
We're gonna reference this episode in 2 years.
Yeah, I'm good, man. I don't.
When we get another like yak hide pants montage of you popping a bajillion keys and not getting the scroll.
Yeah, I'm good. It's like a minor convenience, which like
not worth.
My entire account is inconvenient.
Yeah, it's a risk and reward. Like, if you weren't a UIM and you could just safely bank all of your valuables, there would be no question. Like, just do it. From what I understand, death means account wipe in a lot of situations for UIM.
I can death pile now, but then I'm killing them with really inefficient gear. It's not. Death piling is like, sweet, I have all this equipment that I can't use, and also I'm on an hour time limit, and it's just not great. I mean, it beats the alternative, which is losing everything, but
yeah.
Win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
You want to hear my UIM hot take?
Yeah, let's hear it.
I don't think that UIMs should have gotten a looting bag or like death piling, death storage. I don't play a UIM, so obviously I have no skin in the game. But to me, it seems like it goes against the idea of the game mode. Although a lot of UIMs vote no for things that could be QOL, there have been a lot of things that have come into the game intentionally or unintentionally. And it's like, but now you just have more inventory. You have a bank, technically. It's just you loopholed your way around it.
I'm curious what your opinion is on stash units.
I mean, for clues and stuff, sure. And if
but like UIMs keeping items in stash units.
It kind of goes along the same vein. The idea of a UIM is you can't bank, but a lot of the things that you can do as UIM like feel like banking, like death piling and putting things in death storage.
I feel like the idea of UIM has changed a lot because at the very beginning, you had 3 minutes to run to the spot where you died.
Oh, that's true. That's
like,
true.
It used to be if you were a UIM and you died at like God Wars, you wiped.
It was over.
Yeah. So like the game mode has changed a lot, and I think that I don't think anyone would play that. Well, I mean, okay, there would be a couple people that played that first version, but it's a lot more about like management now that I think that it's. And there are a few people that play, and like Molly Music on Twitch plays a no death bank, no death pile UIM, no looting bag also. So there are people who put those restrictions on themselves, but I think that that's not what brings me to the game mode. I think that I like the what can I do with these limitations? How far can I push this?
True. Yeah.
It's a different skill expression.
Right. My UIM hot take is that I think you should be able to use protect item.
Ooh.
I think you should lose everything on death, but I think you should be able to protect item, because right now that prayer does nothing except waste prayer points.
What is the thought behind not letting you do it?
Well, the original idea of UIM is you lose everything when you die, and you probably can't get your stuff back, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now you can.
So,
question mark.
But you can. Yeah. Now you have an hour, right? So nobody's. Well, I'm not going to say nobody wipes on a UIM, because it does happen, but it's a lot harder to wipe on a UIM now. It used to be very easy. So I think the protect item is a relic from that previous play style. And what does protect item let UIMs do? It's just like you can now bring one item into the wilderness. Like, is that much of a? I mean, it would be huge for my account, but is that much of a buff for regular UIMs? I doubt it.
Is that something you think they would vote, like poll and change?
I would guess that the larger UIM community would probably vote no, just because UIM community is
That's how it's always been.
Very opposed to change. But I'm actually curious. Like, I haven't heard what other UIMs think about that. It does feel like it's always been this way. But yeah.
We'll reach out to Verf. We'll get Potato on the show. We'll just have a battle of the UIMs. Just UIM hot takes with every UI. And Michael and I are going to slowly, like, our cameras are going to fade out smaller and smaller. You guys we'll let you guys take over.
Yeah, I do think that if this change were to happen, it needs to come from a UIM that's not me, because I am very clearly biased. I have a lot more. It benefits me way more than it does other UIMs.
You want to talk about good UIM series story, though. Like, oh, they updated it, so I was able to protect item. And the only thing I protected is my Voidwaker blade. And then I made a misstep, and I wiped at my death bank at Zulrah, and everything is gone. So now it's me and my trusty Voidwaker.
Yeah.
Welcome to my UIM rebuild series.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Void hater. I don't know.
I don't know. I think that if they made that change, I'd probably grind a rev weapon, honestly, because like
fun. Yeah,
I think that would be very beneficial.
Hella useful.
Yeah,
I cannot wait. I cannot wait to get one of them bitches by accident.
Oh, I don't think I'm getting a rev weapon.
That's gonna be a fun arc. I cannot wait to get one by accident. Because what's gonna happen is your unique is gonna be like Fangs of Venenatus or something like that. You're gonna go, well, this item is pretty useless unless, and then there's going to be some story beat where it's like, I'm going to hold a gun to your head unless you get in the fucking Revenant caves. And you're going to be like, guess I have no other choice. You're going to get the wrong Revenant weapon.
Oh, God.
Like, well, guess I'm going to Vedion. I cannot wait for this Northern UIM arc right here.
And then it's useless. It's the upkeep.
Yeah.
You need so much ether.
It's not about the money, Spider-Man. It's about sending a message. Okay?
It's about the Mets. Love the Mets.
Love the Mets, baby. Let's go Mets.
Well, is there any final thoughts here on this half of the episode? Because I think we should pop it off to break and come back with a little fun question action. But any final thoughts here to leave the first half of the people who won't come back after the break?
UIM good. I'm not doing Coliseum.
A controversial opinion, but one we've heard nonetheless. Tiki said they'll cut that. Oh, if I was editing, I would. It'd just be like really bad. It'd be a really bad, like, UIM is bad. And we'd be like those old style videos where I'm just like cutting up your voice from other bits of the show.
I mean, it's so easy because like we don't have to contend with your mouth moving in the video. It's like it's not gonna be cut, so it's great.
Oh yeah, perfect.
We can alter your audio however we want.
He said it was bad. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway,
I did not say UIM is.
He said
I'm not going to finish
he's
that.
abandoning his UIM to go for a quiver on Jeporite.
Oh,
let's fucking go!
Let's go!
This is slander.
Actually horrible.
This is libel. This is contacting my attorney.
He's just not going to send us his audio. The episode that never
we
came
brought him
out.
on this show
That's true.
for defamation purposes. Yeah.
I hold the
This episode
MP3
is
file. You have no power over me.
Anyway, that's gonna do it for this half, folks. Thanks for sticking around, listening to us yap. If you wanna stick around for the next half, it's gonna be even better. Promise. We'll have some fun stuff in there. So see you after this.
Hello. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Simon Templeton, owner, operator, sole proprietor, and chief executive officer of Simon Templeton's totally legitimate archaeological expeditions. You've actually caught me out here at an interesting time. I'm doing work for the Varrock Museum, and as a matter of fact, you've come by at just the right time. You see that pyramid? At the top rests a smaller, shinier pyramid. It's not a very tough trek up, but you see, that's my problem. Last time I tried to go up there, I really hurt my back on the way down, so I haven't been feeling up to the climb lately. But that's where you come in. You see, I've got a guy. He's willing to pay top dollar for those pyramid tops. So I'll make you a deal. For every pyramid top you get me, I'll toss you 10,000 gold. That's right, that's a 1 with 4 zeros at the end of it. No diminishing returns, just cold, hard cash. So what do you think? We got a deal? Wait, don't answer that. Just meet me here at my base camp outside the pyramid tomorrow morning. If you get lost on your way over, the pyramid is right next to the edge of the world. Literally, there's nothing there. You stare at the void stares back. I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Can't wait to do business with you, partner.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that commercial break because I know that I sure did. We are going to take a second really quickly before we get into the fun question to thank our patrons. On the screen now is our current Wise Old Man patrons. We don't have any new Wise Old Man patrons this week, so we get to thank all of you equally. Thank you, Wise Old Man patrons, for your patronage over on Patreon. You guys are amazing. Thank each and every one of you. I wish we could shout you all out by name. There's not enough, hours in the day or love to go around. So we have to do a group thing. Lots of group kisses.
Said, bro, my love is limited.
So
Ain't no way.
I kind of meant it like that because we have to give more love to this next group of folks, and that is the KBD patrons. You guys are just slightly more amazing and deserve more of our love, as evidenced in the last section. But no, Wise Old Man, you're my favorite. Love you all so much. Don't tell the KBD patrons I have to do this. I'm contractually obligated. Anyway, thank you to all of our KBD patrons, and we want to give you a special shout out by name, starting at the top of the list. A big thank you and shout out to Apathy, Boston Sport 5, Brian M, Brooks 70, Chaos in Swoles, Democratic Campaign Services. Interesting. Oxie's dad almost said his real name. My dad, all of our dad. Cloud Kicker, Damon S, Dickie Bird, Elite Oreo Dunker, Oxy's Satanic Lover 666. Our third favorite Patreon supporter, Ralph, Run Metal 15, Rylithian, Soggy Waffles, Seppi J, Sparky Life, Splashers Total Level. This hasn't changed from last week. The Big G Jordy, the Crayola Tallymorn, and Warbitroning. As I said, KBD patrons, thank you so much. You guys are amazing. Muchos smoochos to all of you. If you would like to join in on the fun, you can head over to patreon.com/Xpwaste. We have lots of tiers available for you to just take your pick. All of them are great. Shout out to the Gnome Child and the Party tier folks too. Again, that's patreon.com/Xpwaste. Now, usually we would go into the community question and the achievement of the week, but like Oxy said, we're on a kind of a bit of a time crunch here and we don't want to bore Jeporite. So we're going to just go into the fun. We're going to maximize the fun right out of the gate. After that just,
After you said there's not enough love to go around, he says there's not enough shout out to go around. So there's truly not enough love to go around.
Truly
and if
atrocious.
you answer the community question or you did something awesome, you just have to wait
wait.
until we have more love. The
Yes.
truck got delayed. Nothing. Right.
God.
No,
So I get to ask this is a rare W for me. I get to say the thing. I get to ask, Oxie, do you have a fun question for us this week?
And I get to respond with, that's crazy. I thought we both agreed before he got here that Jeporite would think of the fun question.
We did. Yep. So
That's
Jeporite,
incredible.
do you have a fun question for us this week?
It's funny you say that because I remember a specific conversation where the three of us were discussing that Michael was going to have the fun question this week.
Oxie and I texted about
This
it.
is where you got to insert the 2 hours later.
Oxie and I texted about it after the
Keep
fact,
going around, in
and
this
we
circle.
thought it would be so much better. I do have a fun question. I have many fun questions. We have a backlog, actually. This is great. So, this week's fun question is from Dinosaur, our famous fun question asker in the Discord. Do either of you, or both of you, or all of you, do all of you,
all
or
three
any
of you at this point.
do all three of you have any crazy superstitions or conspiracy theories about the game? Like opening clue caskets in a particular spot or something like that. And I'll read his. He says, mine is that without question, the blood spawns at Maiden have AI in them. Those MFers are heat seeking, and I will not let Big Jagex lie to us anymore. So do you have any superstitions or conspiracy theories about the game?
Oh,
Whoever wants to go first.
Let's see. Well, yeah. I'm gonna say that maybe 40 to 50% of players in the public barbarian assault world are actually bots that are programmed to play BA poorly so that you spend more money on barbarian assault services.
Ooh, okay.
Well, that is a conspiracy, isn't it? Oh,
Okay.
man.
It's Big BA back again.
Big BA
Bro,
is back
The
again.
propaganda.
We've come full circle. Now we have reason to villainize those, super kind and loving sons of bitches over at BA services.
Exactly.
I don't know who we could be picking a fight with the mob by just saying shit like this,
Oh no.
Kind of like if you
Careful
make
who
fun of
you-
like Rot, they'll like dox you in real life. So
Yeah.
you guys see my address posted in Times Square, it's because I made a Rot comment. But like, I hope they're not like that.
I have two. And Tiki said one of mine. He said, and I'll just read it because this is also Tiki's, but he said, I think that Jagex buffs drop rates for things in the first week. And I wholeheartedly believe that. It's insane the amount of Araxor drops that we have seen. And it may not be like the first week. I could see like the first couple of days just to get people hyped about the content, because what's worse than a new boss when it's not dropping anything because people just haven't killed it enough? But like if they give a slight buff to say, you know what, it's normally like a 1 in 512, but for this week it's a 1 in 200 or something. And then they put it back to the normal drop rate once they see that people have all the stuff. I don't know, like anytime there's new content, just people get unreasonably spooned. Like 1 KC pets in under 10 KC. I remember when Muspa came out, there were several people in our clan that green logged it in under 100 KC. The pet, what was it? The pet is the pet 1 in 3,000?
Pretty standard. It's probably pretty standard, 1 in 3K. I don't have it in front of me, but
It's 1 in 2,500. So
So like green logging it in 100 KC, multiple people did that. So I don't know. The other one, and this is a more serious one, but I don't think that Jagex will ever fully address or do anything about bots because they fuel the economy and they also fuel bond prices. Like Jagex is making money off of the bonds that these people are buying for these accounts, unless they're still stealing credit cards, which I don't know. But like, there's got to be some sort of financial incentive for Jagex to not fully wipe out the bot problem, because I think it is helping them in some way. And it's like it would be worse off for them in the long run to fully do something about it when they're fully capable of doing something about it. That's my tinfoil conspiracy.
Man, those are like serious conspiracies about the game. Mine was kind of a joke.
Well, in the vein of super serious conspiracies, I'm convinced you have it's like a quarter of a tick, if even that. At the end of a raid, particularly at Chambers or at TOA is the worst offender, right? But
A quarter of a tick?
it's a quarter of a tick. You have a very, very, very short window where the game reads how much your screen is zoomed in by and what angle your camera is facing. And that is actually a higher determinant of a drop rate than the actual drop rate itself. Because what color is milk, boys? What color is milk? What happens when we milk it? What color is milk?
White.
White. I think the game knows that you're trying to milk it. And I think the game goes, all right, your camera should be facing south at a normal angle, but instead it's facing north and you're super zoomed in. You're trying to milk it. And if you're trying to milk it, you don't get shit. So I think the game is able to know that and sends that data to the server. And I think, we'll even take it a step further, I think it will delete purples. If it rolls a purple on the kill and then sees your camera is not in the right position, it will change the loot at the last second. Because what color is milk?
White.
White. Milk is white. It's never purple. If you've got purple milk,
Chocolate
something, but the lights are never brown. And I know there could be some argument for like, well, strawberry milk is close enough. Strawberry milk ain't purple. You're not about to say the Grimace shake is strictly made of milk. That shit's not that. No, not doing that. What color is milk? White.
White.
The game knows your camera angle.
We found the
And
title for this
because
week's
of that-
episode.
What color is
What
milk?
color is milk?
It's totally unrelated. Like, by the way, Jeporite's here too. Like,
Featuring Jeporite. Isn't there
Okay,
blue milk from
please.
Zelda? Or no, Star Wars also? Tiki said blue milk from Zelda, but there's a blue milk in Star Wars too.
You know, I'll give it to you. If you want to go the Star Wars route and talk about blue milk, it is a blue light when you get the dust at CMs. So
Ooh.
that's fine. However,
Oh, it's actual blue? It's not like a
yeah, so it's
a
like
red light
it's like
thing?
a cyan. No, it's like a cyan light. I'm
Wow.
pretty sure when you get dust. I've seen it in leagues and then didn't get the omelet pet in leagues 3. I got dust on like 2 KC. Didn't get the omelet pet. So
F.
that's cool. Dust is an item and doesn't carry over from league to league. So that's fun.
No. Even if you used
Good time.
it. Oh, you didn't get the
If you got the omelet pet, I'm sure it does, but I didn't get the omelet pet. So
Never lucky.
Oh boy, more wacky RuneScape conspiracies.
It's not a conspiracy, more of a confession, but when I'm raiding with my GIM friends, they all like to close the chat box, do all that, like look like, oh, is it purple? Is that you got a purple? All right, let's wait and see what it is. I leave my fucking chat box open.
I do the same thing.
That's
Oxie-
just disrespectful. Chat box is closed, hearts up, pants off. There's a difference between milk and a ritual, boys. Have ye no respect for tradition?
Every time Oxy says like, all right, boys, chat box closed, I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Chat box is closed. And then
You can do
specifically
what you
if you're at
want,
TOA, before you walk into that final room, hearts up, pants off. Whatever you're wearing, pants off. Take your pants off.
Yeah.
Purple's almost guaranteed. It's the antithesis of the camera angle problem because, as I've said, what color is milk?
Blue.
Right? When you milk it, when you milk that shit, you get nothing. But when you follow the predetermined rituals, it's kind of like a snow day, right? I'm gonna say some things, and if you guys were cool, you'll remember them. What you boys know about putting a spoon under your pillow? What you boys know about sleeping with your pajama pants inside out? What you boys know about flushing ice cubes down the toilet? Or if you really want to appease the gods, go outside in the dead of night. What you know about getting a handful of snow, dropping that bitch in the toilet and flushing it down the toilet? Huh?
I know nothing.
What you know about that? What you know about the rituals to get a snow day? What you know about the pure joy you feel when the gods smile
when
upon
you've done
you
it?
and school is
worked last
canceled at
time.
5 o'clock in the morning?
It worked last time.
Okay,
Must work this time.
I've heard of the spoon under the pillow. I've heard of the inside out pajamas. The are you doing with your toilet?
You flush ice cubes down the toilet. But if you want to appease the old gods and the new, you go out and you get snow. You get the real thing.
What if you made ice cubes from melted snow?
Then
Is
you're
that more
overcomplicating you're overcomplicating the process.
But I feel like I would be more pleased as a god. Be like, wow, they took the time to get snow, melt it organically.
There's no way Tiki just said, "What color is the toilet?"
The color is
I'm gonna get a purple porcelain toilet just to prove a point.
I think that's a good place to end it.
So I think
What
there's a big
colors are
difference though, between a ritual like spoon under the pillow, inside out pajamas, snow down the toilet, hearts up, pants off. And
I'm still not convinced that snow in the
Milking
toilet's a
it.
real thing, but I'll humor you for this, I suppose.
it is, brother. I'm telling you, it is. It worked.
I feel like all of these have to be regional, right?
It really does. So when I recently, about a year or so ago, closer to 2 years at this point, I worked with teenagers at a youth, like kind of like a, alternate to the alternate high school type facility where I used to live. And they would talk about like, oh, I hope we get a snow day tomorrow. And I would tell them about these rituals. And they'd be like, who told you about that? Who told you about the spoon under the pillow? And it literally was like, don't cite the deep magic to me, which I was there when it was written.
No.
Okay. I've lived in Michigan my entire life. I've tried to get a snow day or two in my childhood. But as an adult, I would like, when I moved out, I had like 3 spoons that had just fallen under my bed from like a solid year of trying to get snow days. Cause like, that, I don't want to go into work. And if the kids get a snow day, I don't have to go in. So,
So you put spoons on your pillow as an adult?
you damn right I did it.
Oh,
26,
that's
27 years
hilarious.
old, however old I was. We get spoons under the pillow.
You still did
We
it
got
20?
inside out pajamas. Dude, I'd walk downstairs.
Wait,
I got a second floor
wait.
apartment. I'd walk downstairs.
You did this-
inside out pajamas.
Oxy, you did this in your 20s?
Did I? Jeporite. Did you not hear me the first time? At 27 years old, working my career as a licensed counselor, I would go downstairs with my inside out pajamas to the front of my apartment, grab a handful of snow, bring that bitch upstairs, flush it down the toilet, and then put a spoon under my pillow to go to bed.
Dude, I did that when I was like 8.
I worked in a school setting, Jeporite. What do you want from me?
Fair
if he doesn't
enough.
do it, it's not gonna happen.
Unfortunately, now I work at a university, and my university just doesn't close for anything.
Ah.
Like, especially since COVID, it just doesn't close for anything. But rituals are important. Which milking is not a ritual. Milking lowers your chances to get a drop, and rituals increase your chances to get a drop. So those are my conspiracy theories.
Fair enough.
Very nice. I feel like mine was too serious, but I don't think I have any conspiracies. I do. It's not. It's
The
not
bots
a
and barbarian
conspiracy.
assault make it harder for people. If you milk, you don't get purples. They're in on the botting problem. They did it. The call came from inside the house. They did it.
One thing that I do ritualistically is anytime there is, it's just sounds vain in my head, and it's gonna sound vain. Anytime there is a chance that I could be needing to take a screenshot, I get the perfect camera angle in game before I do it.
Oh, I do that.
So, yeah,
I do that. If I know a clip is coming, like, all right, let's zoom in a little bit, make this nice and pretty.
exactly. I want to make it look aesthetically pleasing. If I know I'm getting a 99 or a level, or if I'm going to be opening a casket of some sort, like
Yeah.
I'll position my character in such a way where it looks great. Because like I have to look at this screenshot afterwards, and I have to post it
Yeah.
in Discord. So I want to make it look nice.
I do a lot of like really stupid, like invisible edits you'll never see on my videos that are just like, oh, somebody said something stupid in the chat box. Okay, we're removing that. Let's put a different
Hell yeah.
chat box over this. Like, just to like,
That's awesome.
I don't know.
Or like a strategic cut, so you don't see what they just said in the chat.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
like I'll cut
That's
like
awesome.
the frame before something happens just to keep everything a
I feel
little
that.
bit
I
tidier.
feel that.
At the public barbarian assault world, that's probably a good idea. It's like
Yeah.
making micro edits to doing the winter Todd grind.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you don't want that chat box shown ever.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
good times had by all.
Good times indeed. Thank you, Jeporite. Thank you for coming on the show. I know this was kind of like we could have done this even more last minute, but like this was pretty last minute. So
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for carving some time out of your day. If you guys want to check out Jeporite, where can they?
Yeah, where can we find you? Who are you?
You can
Who
find
are
me
you?
on
What's your name?
YouTube. My name is Jeporite. Thanks for asking. I'm Jeporite on YouTube. I'm Jeporite on Twitch. I'm Jeporite on Twitter. I'm not calling it X. That's about it.
What's your frenetic name?
My frenetic name is Recall. Rakkal.
I think mine's like Lar something.
Mine's Lalark.
Larlark. Yeah,
Mine's
Lalark.
And I did not know that they were randomly generated.
Oh,
for
yeah.
the first probably 4 years of my account.
I didn't know that
I
until
thought
I got a name.
Everyone was called Lalark.
I got a name on Northern UIM, and it was completely different from my Jeporite name. I'm like, what is this? I thought everyone was called Silgor or something.
Mhm.
Nope.
It's a fun little aside. Anyway, that is the show, folks. Thank you for, if you made it this far, thanks for listening. You can check out Xpwaste. All of our stuff will be in the description. We stream sometimes, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, that's the show. Thank you guys so much for listening. And tune in next time. We'll probably end up talking a lot about the Summer Summit, because that'll be this week, a couple days after the episode releases, Saturday, September 7th. Make sure you watch. But we'll catch you next time.
We might possibly probably stream that too. We'll see. Keep your eyes peeled.
Hell yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
See you.